Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
You have to stop talking to yourself. Actually continue talking to yourself because it can be very, very good, but don't talk negatively. Don't criticize yourself. We're going to talk about that today. Self-criticism. Also, side note, energy healing and how it can be very impactful to you. And that's from somebody who is an energy healer, motivational speaker, published author, life coach, and the founder and CEO of Dynamics of Conversation. And she's back with us for our conversation today. Iveta Kuzela is on the program. Iveta,
hello,
welcome.
everybody. Hi, Steve. How are you doing? I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so great to have you back. Let's dig right into that, because it's often been said that the way we speak to ourselves doesn't even have to be verbally. It could be just we're thinking thoughts about ourselves. We would never say those things to somebody we love. We just would never even, that would never even come out of our mouth. But meanwhile, it's in our mind as we talk to ourselves. Why are we so critical of ourselves? What do you think?
All right, so let's get to that. Thank you. I love to just jump in and just start tackling the topics.
Sure.
So I want to start off first by thinking about our thoughts and what we have in our mind as a big dictionary, right? Me learning English as a second language, I had to expand my vocabulary, right? So you start at small words and sentences and phrases, and you keep expanding and learning new words to, make your language more fruitful and more meaningful, and also be able to express yourself the way with the words and the way you want it. And you need words, right? You need to have the vocabulary to tap in and use them to express yourself, your needs, your wants, or even your anger. And how is it tied to self-talk and like self-criticism and I'm not good enough and I will never have this and this never works for me, right? Those are like few phrases, sentences that we use all the time. And I always tell my clients to make your own dictionary first, because if you are not aware, awareness is the very, very first step to pretty much anything, if you think. Because if you cannot see it, then you cannot go and change it, because that doesn't work that way, right? In order for us to change something, we first need to be able to see it. And so the awareness is the very first step. And I help my clients to do that by actually creating their own dictionary. So what I mean by that is just, go throughout your day and think about the phrases, the words that you use on hourly basis, or, very frequently, very often. Let's say that when I was learning English, my great words to express like something is super cool, I use great and awesome. Those were those two words that I use all the time. Well, I keep using awesome all the time too, because it's just awesome, right?
It is. It isn't. It's a feeling word. You can feel it when somebody says it, and it doesn't really get old.
Yeah, I know. I love to use it all the time, but I wanted to learn more, right? I wanted to express what I felt in also other ways. So what did I do? I had to Google and I had to ask him, like, what are the other expression I can use for feeling great? And then you have wonderful, extraordinary, incredible, and then all these lists would come up, right? And those are like awesome words that you can use, right? And so this is what I'm talking about. Think about the words that you use on the daily basis. Think about, become aware of them first. Write them down and then think about them. Do you like to use these words? Are they actually expressing what you're feeling? Or are you saying these words just because it's a habitual thing, something that you developed, a long time ago, and you just keep using them, right? It's just even that simple phrase like, hey, how are you? Everybody automatically says, oh, I'm good. Even though deep down, they might not feel good. Deep down, they might be struggling, but nobody's going to go up and say it. But when you actually become aware, like, oh yeah, I say this, but I feel the absolute opposite, then it can lead you to like, okay, why am I saying this? When I feel this way, why am I using these words? Write them down, create the dictionary of the phrases and the words you use so that it comes into your awareness. And then when it comes to awareness, you can catch yourself, right? When I say, oh, awesome, I catch myself because I'm talking about the word. I am focusing on that word. And so I'm going to hear that word more often. And so when we have the list of the words that we use and we say, or even think in our head, right? I'm not good enough. I will never have this. This is way above my league. I will never fall in love. I will never have this job. I will never get the promotion. I will never get the big team, right? All of these phrases, write them down so that they become kind of in your awareness. That's the first step. Now, why are we doing this? The whole point of us registering and really nailing down the words that we use, not only that we can decide, okay, is that really the word I want to use and express how I feel? And then if not, then go and Google different words. Try to find out what other words can you say. Expand your vocabulary. Learn to create different words and try to plug them in different situations. So that can help with manifestation. That can help with kind of, focusing on the positive, focusing on the future in a positive way. You can use this kind of trick to really plug these words in. Now, the second reason why I like for my clients to do this exercise is because when you realize the words that you don't want to say, you can start playing a detective and trying to figure out why there is that you're saying this word or this belief, right? Now, let me give you a little bit of example from the Map of Truth, a Journey to Joy workbook. I also tackled this topic in my book. And so I'm just going to read you the list of common phrases that you might choose to describe what you feel, think, or how you see yourself. Okay? I look like, shh, I'm not going to say that. We all know what it means. What's wrong with me? Why am I questioning everything and everyone? I can't possibly something, become this, reach this, create this, right? I am not something enough, good enough, smart enough, educated enough, rich enough. I mean, we can just keep plugging things in, right? I'm going to fail at something. What? You're going to fail marriage. You're going to fail being parent. You're going to fail your new position, right? We can just keep plugging things in. That's impossible. I can never reach that. I had no choice. Something. I had no choice to act this way. I had no choice to say this. I had no choice of creating this, right? We always have a choice. But when we say we don't have a choice, we're limiting ourselves. We're constantly putting a wall in front of us because we are saying, I had no choice. I don't deserve something. I don't deserve a love. I don't deserve happiness. I don't deserve money, right? I'm meant to be alone. I cannot be good at something. I will never finish on time. I'm always something. It's impossible for me to something. And those are just an example of the phrases that people often use to express how they feel, what they think, and what they are missing, right? It's always something missing. We're missing this piece. We're missing that. And then we plug it into our sentences. But how do those sentences even come up in our life, in our mind? How do they even show up? And that will lead me to an energy healing that I actually I'm also specialized in. I'm an energy practitioner, and I concentrate on subconscious mind. Now, why? Because subconscious mind makes us operate on 90% of our things. So 10% of our things that we do on a daily basis, that we think about, that we act on, communicate, are on a conscious mind. Only 10%. And then 90% of everything else that we do is based on, comes from our subconscious mind. Now, so the phrases and the sentences that we say to ourselves or think, about all the time, I'm not good enough, I will never be this, it's impossible for me. They originated from something, right? They just don't appear out of nowhere. And usually it's on that subconscious mind. That's where they're stored. It's like a program, like you have a keyboard, right? And the keyboard has certain buttons, and the keyboard has certain ways to, to use it to type words and phrases. And you can think of the subconscious mind same way, that they are just like programs that were put in, right, between the age of 0 and 7. That's where usually all that happened, where we put all of these programs in. And then for the rest of our lives, we use the keyboard and those programs to create our reality, to create our perceptions, to create our life and the future as well.
So I've done hypnotherapy, which is addressing the subconscious. I've done energy healing. How do you blend the two together?
Okay, that's a great question. Thank you, Steve. So subconscious release technique, it's a technique that uses a breathing exercises. I use muscle testing to muscle test for the programs that person has subconsciously put in their mind. And it's a combination of statements where you actually release. I can say, I release all frustration with I'm not good enough. And then you release that so that you have the combination of the breath work that helps you when you actually hold your breath. It kind of helps you to access the subconscious mind. And then when you use the phrases and the sentences, when you are releasing and you are releasing them up in the, into the universe, and you actually letting them go. Literally, you are letting them go. And the energy that comes around it. See, for me, it's, it's funny because I've been doing this all my life, but I didn't know that it was special because I've been doing it all my life. And so for me, kind of, getting into the energy healing and just actually finding about things that I've been doing all the time, but I didn't know that they are not normal or not normal. I don't like to use normal word. That doesn't mean anything. They are different, right? So I get a download and I can help clients to release programs because I just know them, right? I can feel when there's an energy stuck in your body in something place. I can feel it. So I can tell you like, hey, it's stuck right here, exactly on that spot. And then we release it. So there is, it's a combination of breath work, the subconscious release of the programs, finding the programs. Think of it as an onion. Like you start building a small onion, it starts to grow when you are child. And then all those beliefs, your parents' beliefs, your siblings' beliefs, your grandma's beliefs, they're all part of you because you were surrounded by it. Somebody was talking about it. Let's say money issue, right? When your parent has a belief that money is bad and money is evil, you are going to take on that belief and you're going to filter all your life through that belief until you realize, hey, but that's not what I want to believe. This is not, true. But because you've been exposed to it for so long and you store it in the subconscious mind, you run your life through it without even realizing that's what it is. And that's why the subconscious release of these programs is so important because, yes, positive mindset, yes, affirmation, yes, having visualization and having all the great for the future. That's all wonderful. But if you have on the other side a bleeding, you're internally bleeding because you have wounds that haven't been healed. You have beliefs that you don't want to associate with, but you still do. You have, you create your own beliefs based on the beliefs that are already placed on the top. If you're not going to take care of this part, then it's going to be way harder for you to manifest something better for yourself, something that you want for, from the future, because you're constantly filtering your life through those beliefs. It's like you can think of it as a filter, literally like a filter. It just goes right through it and it creates the reality.
It is true that you are what you believe, or you are what you say. You're going to create the reality, right? So if you're saying all these negative things, I'm not good enough. I'll never be able to do that. I'll never be able to buy a car, the one that I really want. You're right.
Or find a husband, or find a wife, or find a partner and be wealthy and be rich, right? Or have clients, even that, or lead a bigger team. It's like, it can be part of anything that you do, right? And usually when we are fearful of something, that means there is a certain belief associated with it, right? So if I'm fear of being seen and being heard and being visible online, then there must be a belief that is driving me to sabotage everything that so that I am not seen and heard or visible online, right? And so in order for us to break that barrier, you got to go back to that belief. You got to go back to the childhood maybe and realize what is it or who says what that made you believe that you are not worthy of being seen. Or maybe you were seen, but somebody embarrassed you, somebody called you in on it, and that shut you down because you thought that was not good. Let's talk about example of men and women, right? Men have this stoic mask of them, especially now, everybody's like, masculinity. Well, when that boy grows up in a household where, let's say, a father was always constantly remind him of things that he didn't do right, thinking, my father did that to me and that helped me to work hard and be strong and that, so I'm going to pass it on to my son. Well, not only that the little child grows up thinking, I cannot show emotions, I got to be strong and I have to push through. They can become perfectionists. They can become controlling. They can become, all kinds of things just because their father or his father thought that by helping him to be strong and not give up and constantly push through and pointing things that are not working, thinking, I'm helping him this way to be better, which actually did the actual opposite, right? So it didn't help him to be better. It helped him to be more in, trying to control everything, trying to please the father, trying to, maybe the only thing that the boy wanted to hear is, I'm proud of you. And maybe that was the only thing that the boy wanted to hear. But because of that, the whole life is filtered through that belief. And then it comes out as, I have to be strong. I have to be, in control all the time. I have to have all that power because I am looking for some validation. Let's say for women always you got to be a good girl, right? That was just that's like a one first thing that it comes out like, you got to be a good girl. And then what happens? You're trying as a child, as a little girl, you're trying to be good, right? You're trying to please your parents. You're trying to, I got to be a good girl. So I cannot do this. I cannot speak up for myself. I cannot stand up for myself because when I stand up, then I am rebelling and I am not a good girl, right? So the women can grow up thinking, I have to please people because I have to be that good girl. Or I don't know how to say no to anybody because I have to be the good girl. And it starts really, I know I can just keep going and going with that.
No, I'm curious now with hypnotherapy, many times it can be identified where it's coming from. So they'll take you back to a certain point in your childhood and that's where whatever it might be, I'm not good enough. Well, maybe it's because your dad kept saying, keep trying harder. You can do better. Yeah, keep trying harder. When you do the process, not using hypnotherapy, but using energy healing, do you ever find out and not that it's important, but I'm curious, do you ever find out what the reason was? Is it ever revealed? Or at the end result is still the same? We change that habit. We change that mode of thinking. It's done like this over here with hypnotherapy, but you do it this way using energy healing and tapping into the subconscious.
Yes. So I like to think of it, like the onion, right? And then the programs that want to be healed, they usually are the ones that kind of comes out. And it really is about just having a conversation with the person and listening to what they're saying and really hearing the words that are using to express what they feel. And then, you got to play a little detective here because let's say they may have a trouble with money, right? Or relationship. There's so much challenge right now in the dating world. And it can be traced down to the parents and to the way you grew up. And it can be steered and filtered differently so that when you are looking for someone to settle down with and have a relationship with, you're not attracting the same person over and over and over again, right? It's like you create these patterns and you keep hitting maybe the same wall, or you keep attracting the same people, or you keep losing the money over and over again, right? And this can be traced down to that, to the childhood and to the subconscious. So what I usually do is like whatever wants to come out will come out. And sometimes, like an onion, right? We start peeling the layers off. And sometimes we can skip maybe two layers and then we come back to that one, or we just literally go one by one. But usually we start what is the most challenging for that person at that moment. And then we start, going deeper and deeper. And then more we work, the more programs comes out, and I can tell you, the more you work, the faster it gets released. And it's just like, you can feel the first reaction that I get is I feel so much lighter. And you know why? Because we have we vibrate on certain frequency, right? Everybody has it different based on where they are on their healing journey, on their self-development and self-discovery journey, right? We are all in a different path. But when the energy healing with the subconscious mind is released, you actually release that program. And that means your vibration gets higher. And that means you can attract something new, something different on a different level.
In doing energy healing myself, having it done, I'm not a practitioner. That's how I describe it. Lighter. Yeah.
Lighter. Yeah.
And this week I had some done. And I have to tell you, the following day, I was actually a little tired. I was like, wow. And I just think that there was a lot that was purged out, cleaned out.
Absolutely. And that's great. That's great. When you take it easy and you take care of your body, and like you said, when you feel lighter, you know that something is coming out. And usually there are things that are stuck around us, right, in our aura, and there are things that are stuck inside our body. And then when you can actually take that energy and release it and let it go and let it, transform and transmute into the universe, that it no longer is on you, but your body is like, oh, it's not there anymore, right? Like those pressure points that you have, like my back hurts, my belly hurts all the time, or like your feet hurts. So there's always, at least most of the time, energy stuck there. And when you release it, it becomes more, right? It's clean. And what I do is after we do the clearing, I also always say an affirmation, right? Something positive. I am so happy, grateful that I'm allowing myself to experience this healing, this joy, this new upgrade that I'm getting, right? And there's lots of different affirmations. I usually try to do the affirmation that fits that person and what they're desiring, so that, because the space is empty, right? After you remove the negative, the space is empty, and you don't want to keep it empty. You want to fill it up with a positive affirmation, something that you desire for yourself and that you want for yourself.
How do we start this whole process? We all have this, I don't want to say bad energy. It's just stuck energy within us. And we all say these things to ourselves. If you're saying to yourself, I don't do that, you're not being truthful. We all do. In different aspects, we're telling ourselves things that either aren't true or are negative, where we're setting ourselves up for defeat. The conversation needs to start. Like, I would never know where to start if I reach out to you, and I'm sure you could direct somebody. All right, what's going on in your life? This is what I believe can help you out. What's your website?
So my website for the leadership and public speaking and the coaching is dynamicsofconversation.com. And I am using the SRT, subconscious release technique, with my clients. I haven't created a website for it yet, but I think because lots of people have been reaching out to me about that, I think I'm gonna make it as it own kind of a business thing that it's an addition to what I do, because people are more aware now. People understand now that everything has energy, and what we send out is what we get back. And I love that. I love that fact that we are open to this now. And I think that when you realize that you keep hitting the same wall, that you keep repeating the same patterns, that you keep attracting the same people, and then there is some kind of a pattern, a blockage that either blocks it or it just keeps repeating over and over again. And it's just about, being open to realize it and taking a step to reach out to somebody and say, hey, I keep finding these people, or I keep losing money, or I keep doubting myself over and over again. And, just become open to this and at least explore. I offer a free session because I understand that it's a new concept. I understand that some people want to try it first. And so that's why I offer a free session. If anybody from our listeners is interested, I'll give you a phone number. You can text me. I can put you on my calendar. So my phone number is 720-207-8932.
I love it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's, I was just going to say, just reach out and I'll schedule a free session so you can try it out, test it out and see how it is.
The two things are so important. Your subconscious is running the show.
Yep.
And the energy is important to clear. So you're getting both of those done at the same time. Yep. Just a wonderful concept. It's what most of us need, if not all of us, to move our lives forward. Iveta, thanks for talking with us today. I learned a lot. I didn't even know what you did existed. I knew it existed in different ways, but not together. So super cool. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. I'm always happy to be here. I love these shows that we have together, Steve. It's awesome.
Oh, by the way, you beat me to it. I was going to say you're awesome.
See,
All right. Have a great weekend and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.